We've been married 12 years. For most of that time, our life together was quiet and steady. Not perfect, not a fairy tale, but good. We had our routines, our inside jokes, our small traditions that only made sense to us. We weren't the kind of couple that fought much. I honestly thought we were solid. That's why the night she brought up the idea of an open marriage hit like a punch to the chest. We were sitting in the living room after dinner, the TV still on in the background, and she said it in the most casual way possible. What if we considered opening up our marriage? She said her friends were doing it, that it's 2024 and people are more open-minded now. I just sat there. I didn't get angry or yell. I just asked questions because that's the only way I could keep my composure. Was this something her friends talked her into? Did she already have someone in mind? She said no to both. She told me it didn't have to mean anything, that we didn't have to do it if I wasn't up for it. I told her I needed time to think. She said okay. That was a lie. Not hers. Mine. I wasn't thinking about it. I was replaying it in my head on a loop, trying to figure out what changed. She'd always been sweet, loyal, affectionate. The idea that she wanted to sleep with someone else felt like being told our entire marriage had been a warm-up for something better. I couldn't shake the feeling something was off, so I did the one thing I'd never done in 12 years. I went through her phone and laptop. I found nothing. No messages, no secret accounts, nothing weird. It made me feel guilty for even checking, but the seed was already planted. A few nights later, I was still up past midnight. She'd gone upstairs to bed, and I was in the garage, trying to distract myself by organizing tools. That's when I noticed a small flash of light coming from her car, like a notification. At first, I thought maybe she left her main phone in there, but I knew she was upstairs scrolling in bed like always. Curiosity got the best of me. I grabbed her keys, opened the car, and saw a phone wedged between the passenger seat and the console. Different case, different background. A second phone. My stomach dropped. I didn't turn it on right away. I just held it for a minute, trying to convince myself there had to be a normal explanation. But deep down, I already knew there wasn't. When I finally powered it up, it opened with no password. Notifications popped up from group chats with names I recognized. Her friends. I connected it to my laptop and copied everything. All the texts, photos, and screenshots. I didn't want to confront her yet. I wanted to know exactly what I was dealing with. What I found made me sick. Her so-called open married friends weren't open at all. They were cheating. Full-on affairs. Some with coworkers, some with guys from gyms or apps. The open talk was just a cover, a way to make each other feel less guilty. They even joked about convincing their husbands that it was trendy so they wouldn't get caught. And my wife? She wasn't sleeping with anyone yet, but she was planning to. There were messages where her friends were hyping her up about a guy from her office. One message from her said, "I think he'd say yes if I bring up an open thing. He's always so calm." Another friend replied, "Then that's your window, girl. Don't waste it." That's when it clicked. That's why she'd brought up the open marriage out of nowhere. It wasn't about exploration or curiosity. It was about permission. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat in the garage staring at that phone, alternating between rage and heartbreak. The next morning I confronted her. She denied everything at first, said the phone was old, said it wasn't hers. But when I told her I'd read the messages, the color drained from her face. She broke down crying, admitted it, said she never actually did anything yet. She claimed she was just caught up in what her friends were doing, that she thought it was normal now, that if I had agreed to the open thing, she might have realized she didn't want it. I don't know what hurt more, the betrayal itself or how pathetic that explanation sounded. She begged me to forgive her, said she'd delete the phone, block everyone, drop her friends. But I couldn't believe her anymore. Trust doesn't survive something like that. A few days later, I told her I wanted a divorce. She sobbed, said she didn't mean any of it, said she'd made the biggest mistake of her life. She refused to move out, so I started sleeping in the guest room. For a short time, I considered staying, not because I wanted to, but because I was still trying to understand how it all fell apart so fast. 12 years gone in a week. Then something inside me shifted. I realized that even if I forgave her, I'd never stop wondering. Every night she went out, every time her phone buzzed, I'd question it. That's not marriage. That's prison. So I filed the papers. But that wasn't the end. Because I couldn't just let those other guys live in ignorance either. I had all the messages, screenshots, timestamps, details. I knew exactly who was cheating on who. So I sent everything, not from my account. I made an anonymous email and attached the screenshots, sending them to each husband with a short message saying they deserved to know. It was messy. Within days, all hell broke loose. Her friend group imploded. One husband came to my restaurant to thank me. Another called me screaming. Most of them started divorce proceedings too. My wife found out I'd exposed them and lost it. She said I was cruel, that I'd ruined lives. Maybe I did. But those lives were built on lies. If I had to burn mine down, theirs weren't going to stay standing either. For a while after that, she kept trying to talk to me. She said she'd changed her number, deleted everything, was in therapy, begged me to just talk. But the truth is, I didn't have anything left to say. She told me I was heartless for cutting her off, that I should have just walked away quietly. Maybe she's right. But when you watch the person you trusted most plot your humiliation with her friends, something inside you breaks for good. Then, right in the middle of all this chaos, tragedy hit. Someone close to me, someone young, died in a car crash. It wrecked me. She tried to use that to get close again, said she wanted to help with the funeral, that we should face grief together. I told her not to. She insisted. She even organized parts of it behind my back, saying the person was like family to her too. I couldn't take it anymore. I stopped talking to her completely. I let her cry and beg, but I gave her nothing. A few days later, I took the ashes and moved into the small apartment above my restaurant. My brother manages the bar downstairs. I told him and the staff not to let her in if she shows up. She called nonstop for a few days, saying that taking the ashes was cruel, that we should be together in loss. I blocked her. And just like that, silence. Now it's just me, a few boxes, the hum of the refrigerators downstairs, and the kind of quiet that hurts your ears. I replay everything sometimes. How she looked that night she first asked about opening the marriage. How calm she seemed. How sure that it was a harmless conversation. I wonder if she knew even then that she'd already crossed the line. I think what really kills me isn't the affair that almost happened, but the realization that I was the last to know what kind of world I was living in. Everyone around us, her friends, their partners, living double lives while I was just showing up every day trying to be a good husband. I still love her, in a way. You can't just erase 12 years. But that love doesn't mean what it used to. It's not something I want back. It's more like a scar that still aches when you think about it too long. People say time heals everything, but I don't want to heal yet. I want to sit with it, feel it, because it reminds me what I won't tolerate again. My wife once told me that honesty was the foundation of everything between us. I believed her. And now I know that when that foundation cracks, the rest of the house comes down fast. I'm done updating. I just want peace. I'll sign the divorce papers, finalize the details, and try to rebuild my life one quiet day at a time. And maybe someday, when I think back on this, I'll remember that I wasn't crazy for trusting my gut, that the little flash of light in the garage that night was the sign I needed to see the truth. Because if I hadn't gone out there, I'd still be living in the dark, thinking my marriage was whole when it was already gone.